Hello and welcome back to Cooking with T. We're going to make ourselves a Mexican pizza today, and we're going to use some ingredients that'll help you out in the long run. You know, as I told you guys in the past, I drove for a long time, and I was a lot smaller when I started. So, you know, we're kind of limited on options on the road as to what we have to eat. And as time goes on, you might notice that you start to buy bigger pants. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because physically you're not moving as you did when you were younger. You're not moving about as much, and so you got to really kind of, you know, pay attention to what you're taking in because you're not burning it off. So a lot of recipes that I have are a little more carb friendly than what I've posted in the past, which are not carb friendly, but they're delicious. So today we are going to have the Mexican pizza, and so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to get started with browning our beef. And I just use a 15 or a 85-15 because it's not quite as greasy as the 80-20, and it's still got enough flavor. If it's too dry, then the flavor's it's just not there. You know what? Y'all just forgive me. Poor boy's got poor boy ways, and I know this knife is sharp, and I should have sharpened that one right there before we started this. But I didn't. Alright. That little bit out of there and that little bit out of there. Call that good. Alright, now. I don't add my seasoning until I see that the meat is starting to brown, because it'll fool you sometimes and you'll think it's dunner than it is once you add the packaged seasoning, which is a darker color. So we're gonna dice it all up. Can't let it do its cooking right there. Now, while that is doing that, I'm going to just set that right there for now. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go with our onions. We got some spring onions here. What I want to do is take, and I want to cut the white section off the bottom right here. I'm going to cut them real thin. You can cut them thicker if you like, but for this recipe I kind of like mine thin, because I'm going to put the white part right here is actually going to go in that beef. We'll use the green top. If I get this stuff from rolling all over the place, we'll use the green tops and stuff for the garnish on the top, and of course, yes. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and slide that all up in there and stir that up a minute. Alright, now we're going to cut the tops off of that, shoot it through the side. We just want a little narrow, I'm going to say about an 1/8 inch thick, and set it aside while our beef browns for red tomato. Alan, thank you for the tomato. Take a little bit of this buttery steakhouse. This is good for everything. I mean everything. But you just want a little bit. So we're just gonna go just a little bit on there. You don't want it too salty. Oh yeah. Put that all over. Get the dice in. Take my seasoning packaging before we get started on that. I like to use just a standard taco seasoning. A lot of people are sensitive to sodium, and they get a low sodium, you know, and to each their own. But I personally, I like flavor. I like flavor and more flavor. We're going to add some water. It calls for a cup, and like everything else, I don't measure nothing. That right there is about a cup of water. Then you want to stir it all in once again real good. Or the refried beans. Now I just got just a regular can of refried beans. Awesome. Now if you can't get it out of there like that, you can watch your fingers, poke you a hole in it, and that'll break that seal and it come right out of the can. A little bit of softening. So what we're going to use to soften that up is a little bit of red enchilada sauce. So this right here also goes on the top of the pizza. So we're going to add a little bit of that also right here in the beans. Kind of loosen it up just a hair. You don't want it flowing out there. We just want it to where we can work with it. Now another thing too that helps is a little bit of cheese. We got here the Fiesta blend. It's got shredded Monterey Jack, cheddar, queso quesadilla, and a Sodero cheese. We're going to put that in there for a minute. Wait a few minutes and let all this do what it's going to do. This will be done here shortly, and we'll return back to the channel. Thank you. All right, and we're back. Everything seems to be cooking down real good. We got a few more minutes left on this right here. We're getting extremely close. Yeah, that's smelling awesome. All right, so while that's doing that, let's stir our beans once again. And oh yeah, look how much, yeah, that looks good. Okay, that'll spread real easy. I do want to warm it a little bit more though. You guys would probably have found, like I found out when I was trucking, that you can't run a real high wattage microwave on your truck without burning your batteries down quite quickly or heating things up. So I just put that on for a minute while ago. So I'm going to put it on for another minute and a half. We want to heat this up. So we're going to go ahead and put that on at least a medium. What we're going to do is we're going to fry some tortillas. So we want to add a little bit of oil. You don't want a whole lot. You don't want to really drench it in it, but you want enough to cover the bottom. Now what we're using, and there are different brands of these tortillas. There's different brands, and I don't think it really makes a difference. I've tried them with different brands, and these are a carb counter, carb lean tortilla. Each one of these tortillas is only 4 grams, where a regular tortilla, the same size as that right there, is 35 grams a piece. So you're looking at 8 grams of carb for 2 slices, or for 2 tortillas, just 8 grams of carb opposed to 70 if you're using a regular flour tortilla. Just something for you to maybe want to think about. Best way to check it is to take that corner and kind of dip it in there until you see little bubbles right there, and you can tell by the rate of bubbles that needs to be turned down just a hair. There you go. Make sure that bottom's covered. Put that tortilla in there and just kind of smash it around. And if it tries to bubble up like that right there and that right there, just poke a hole in it. Just poke a hole in it. Take us a look and see. Easy. I've browned them a lot more than this, and what I have found is if you brown them too much, then they end up so crunchy that it falls apart on you, and you really don't want that, because it's nothing worse than trying to eat something that's falling everywhere except in your mouth. Alright, check our other side there. You still want it to be a little pliable. There you go, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. That's what you're looking for right there. That's what you're looking for right there. Still a little bit pliable. Alright, and then grab your top one and do it the same way. So we start. Stir that up real good. Start with our refried beans. Put as much or as little as you want on there. I usually take about like that right there. Kind of smear that around just like that. So like I say, the main part's done. So we go with that. We want to go with a little bit of, get my little spoon out here, with a little bit of taco meat, or in this case, our pizza meat. And you can do it different ways. You can make, instead of a Mexican pizza, you can make an Italian style pizza. Pretty much use the same thing. I would use something like maybe pepperonis on here, maybe some Italian sausage or something of that nature. We ain't gonna do that today. We ain't gonna have no failures today. Cameraman there said he ain't about to put up with it. So what we're going to do, now that we've got that, we're gonna go back and put a little cheese on that mother, like normal. All right. Yeah, this right here, on top of making it cheesy and delicious, it also helps that top layer to stick to the bottom layer. That way you're not fighting a war at two fronts, trying to keep it in the taco and out of your lap. We're gonna go with our top piece on top of that. Now see, if that's real tight, if it's cooked real hard, that right there will break it. Just pushing on it that little bit. You don't want that. You want that pliability to it. Now, with that said, we're going to, now you want to add that to it. Now this is going to be like the pizza sauce on a pizza. Just kind of do it how you want. So just kind of keep it off the edge a little bit. That gives it room to run. All right, now we'll go with that right there. Gotta have, must have, can't do without. Some more cheese right on top of it. As little or as much as you like. Now here is where you can or cannot. A lot of people like to wait until everything's done and then put their garnishments on there. But I like to kind of take these onions right here and kind of sprinkle them around. Now of course I'm going to wait till it comes out of that microwave before I put my tomatoes on there. A little bit more cheese. Not a whole lot, just enough to kind of keep everything from rolling off our pizza there. Just kind of a little. We'll take our pizza, put it in the microwave. Like I said earlier, your guys' microwaves are probably not 1200 watts. So you may want to take more time with yours. I'm just going to put it on 30 seconds at a time here. Alright, we're going to go with 30 more seconds. Bam! Oh yeah. Y'all look at this. We got those tomatoes on there. Look at this. That right there is a pie for the eye. Looks good. It's not melted all the way down, but yet it is melted. All right, now we'll take our seasoned tomatoes, spread that around. And I have in the past used black olives. Black olives, onions and tomatoes. And we're gonna let that cool a little bit because that mug is hot. One thing you do want to check though, before you get all crazy and going and diving into it, you want to make sure that that top layer has connected to the bottom layer, which it has. Now that right there, folks, that right there is an amazing looking pizza. And I'm going to show you the real beauty of it. A lot of it is in the presentation. I mean, that's a wonderful looking, you got meat and beans and all that good stuff right there. I'm a big eater. One of these right here fills me up, and as you can see with what we've got left with ingredients, you could make 4, probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 more of these things. Cost $17 for everything that I bought. So you cut that into 4, that's less than $5 a meal for that. And well, you know, Taco Bell's $4.99. You ain't saved much, but you get twice as much, and you're saving on the carbs. And here's a little something I wanted to show you. Now I don't know if you can zoom in on that, but what it is I checked out the carbs and the calories. These right here are are in this pizza right here alone. This is your carbs. Approximately 20 carbs for that pizza right there. 20. Now, the calories are approximately 400 for that entire pizza. 400 calories is all it is. If you're on a 2,000 calorie a day, you can eat 5 of these things. Now, this Taco Bell is 48 carbs for half as much, which is over double of the carbs as this. And the calories are 140 to 150 more calories than this. And this is amazing. Now, with that said, I think we need to get right down to it. Hey, that works actually even better. See how that's not falling apart? And it's not all falling apart. We're gonna take this little knife right here. And look at that. All that cheese and that meat and that beans, man, it's good and hot. Flavorful. Man, that right there is Flavor Town. Right on. Well, anyways, there you have it, folks. Mexican pizza. When you can't make up your mind whether you want Italian or Mexican. That right there will do it every time. Like I say, I usually try to leave some kind of an inspiration to some folks. Some people listen, some people don't, and hey, it's all fine to each their own. But something I was wanting to pass on today was passed on to me a long time ago, and it seemed to help through all these years. There's a lot of things that come into our lives that we really haven't got much control over, and you eat yourself up on the inside trying to figure out what to do. Let's say everything in your life is a black dog. Everything in your life that is bad is a black dog. Everything that's going right in your life, everything is good in your life, that's a white dog. The question that was handed to me was, which one prospers? Well, I didn't know what the answer was, but the answer is actually obvious. It's the one that you feed. So remember that. You keep feeding those negative energies, they're just going to get bigger. Before you know it, they're big as this house, you can't control none of it. But if you keep feeding the positive energies in your life, things will be more positive for you. And I hope that helped you. It helped me out in my life. And enjoy the pizza. I hope you enjoyed our show, and we'll see you on our next episode of Cooking with Tea.